Chair, fellow speakers, this is an evaluation on an F1 speech, which is about getting started. So straight away, I'm going to put Kat out of her misery and say she has passed this F1. Now this speaker's speech was thoughts on being 50, and I'd like to commend her for not shying away from that age, because that's something that people tend to do. So her salutation, Scotland, no, forget it. Cloak, let's see.
Yeah, that's
around
sorry.
here. Her salutation was spot on. Her voice was clear, and there was a good use of emphasis on certain words and certain points that the speaker wanted to get across. So there was a difference in tone. There was a rise and a fall, and the confidence that I think the speaker has allowed this to come over. So she approached the lectern with confidence and stood there confidently facing everybody, and this can only bode well because it encourages the audience as well to think, this person is going to know what she's talking about, so I'm going to pay attention. Throughout the speech, the eye contact was good, looking around the room, engaging with people, and there was good engagement and a little bit of rapport. There was also some good use of vocabulary, like paradigm and hyenas, which maybe I was a bit surprised at, because, only being 50, I don't know that she should have known those big words, but she did, so excellent use of that, and generally good use of vocabulary. There was also a bit of humour. She was talking about the Bond film and the fact that she perhaps wasn't going to appear in the next one. And we had a new term called age irrelevant, which I thought was quite a good way of putting things. There used to be a time when age was really relevant to how you ought to behave or dress or be, but it was very time and very restricting. So I think more and more today, age is just become irrelevant. We often hear it's just a number. It's how good you feel. There were a couple of learning points. To start off with, our arms were clenched quite by the side, and we had a little flapping around of the hands, which was, I guess, perhaps beginning of some gestures, but it was a little bit distracting for me. And I noticed that as her confidence grew in the speech, the arms were released, and she began to fly into freedom of learning how to express herself in front of a group of people. And this also led to other gestures. I think there was one on rounded. So there was a good use of some of the points that we look for in speeches beyond an F1. And there was also a good conclusion, which took us back to her beginning, but what were her final thoughts on being 50, or nearly 50. So there was a good structure, there was a beginning and there was a middle and there was an end, and there was a good conclusion. I think to live is to age and to age is to live. Something we can all think about perhaps. Just one other learning point perhaps. If you're going to use abbreviations like U3A, I think you need to perhaps ask yourself, does everybody in the room know what that means? What I'm talking about. Use it, but then explain what it is. I think it means university of the third age. But you only know that if you're of a certain age. So all in all, it was a good time as well, and a good speech, certainly a good start to the learning ladder towards becoming an accomplished speaker. And I would say that just at the end, when you said, in conclusion, you don't have to say that. Your words of conclusion should be clear that you are making and coming to a conclusion. So make sure that the concluding words are conclusive and powerful. And therefore, I'm very glad to say this speaker has been, or should we say, is able to move on to her next assignment without any repetition.